In a village where the living tread carefully and the unseen move without footsteps, gratitude is not courtesy. It is survival. They call it the Festival of Agwu. One day in June. Just one. But what happens on that day does not end when the drums go silent. It lingers. It watches. It remembers. Years ago, before the fear, before the shrine, before the chalk marks and cowries, Ezini was just a man. Then the sickness came, not the kind that herbs could cure, not the kind that fever breaks could wash away. He would disappear into the forest at night. He spoke in voices layered beneath his own. He called people by secrets they had buried. He named betrayals before they unfolded. The elders did not call it madness. They called it Agwu, the spirit of divine insight, the force behind healers, the whisper behind prophecy. And when Agwu chooses you, it does not ask for permission. Ezini resisted, and resistance nearly killed him, only when he surrendered, when he accepted that his body would no longer belong entirely. To himself did the sickness lift. But Agwu never gives without taking. From that day forward, June belonged to the spirit. On the morning of the festival, the air over Amuaka village felt heavier than usual. No bird sang. A pale fog pressed low against the earth. Clinging to ankles as villagers walked toward the shrine, they came dressed in white. Some carried goats. Others held clay pots of palm wine, cola nuts, hens bound at the feet. Some came in gratitude. Others came in fear, because the Agwu festival is not simply Thanksgiving. It is accounting. Months earlier, men and women had come to Ezini in desperation, a child sick beyond medicine, a court case. Leaning toward ruin, a rival rising to fast in the marketplace. They asked for help, and help came. But help always comes with a promise. Okoro remembered his promise too well. His rival had been flourishing. Customers abandoned him daily. In panic, he came to the shrine, kneeling in the dust. He asked for intervention. Days later, his rival fell mysteriously ill. Within weeks, Okoro's stall was thriving. In the relief of victory, he promised a ram. A strong one, healthy, worthy. But business grew busy, profit grew sweet, and the ram never came. Now, standing in the fog of June, Okoro felt his stomach twist, because Agwu does not forget. The drums began slowly, deep, measured, like a heartbeat beneath the soil, as Ezini emerged from the shrine covered in white chalk, symbols marking his chest and arms. Cowries rested against his skin. His eyes did not blink as often as they should. When he spoke, his voice was calm. Step forward, only if your hands are clean. The fog seemed to tighten. The first offerings were made. Palm wine spilled onto the earth. Cola nuts split open. Hens squawked in protest as they were lifted high. The air thickened. Then something shifted. Ezini's head tilted slightly as if listening to something no one else could hear. When he spoke again, his voice was layered, not louder, just deeper. Some have eaten, it said, but have not paid. The drums stopped. Silence fell so completely it roared. Okoro felt the eyes of the crowd before. He felt the eyes of the spirit. Then the masquerade appeared, not from behind the shrine, from the forest. Its fabric was darker than tradition, demanded deep reds, shadowed blacks. Mirrors stitched into its costume caught the firelight and fractured faces into pieces. It did not dance playfully. It circled, slowly, deliberately. Okoro's knees weakened. I was going to bring it, he whispered. Tomorrow. A wind tore through the square. Ezini's staff struck the ground once. Agwu does not eat promises, the layered voice said. Agwu eats fulfillment. The masquerade stopped in front of Okoro, and for a moment that felt endless. The entire village understood something ancient. Tomorrow is a luxury the spirit world does not. Respect. Okoro collapsed into the dust. The fog loosened its grip only when his family ran forward, dragging him away. Before sunset, they returned. The ram came that very evening, strong, healthy, worthy. The sacrifice was made before darkness swallowed the sky, and only then did the drum soften, only. Then did the air feel breathable again. As night settled, the celebration resumed but carefully. Food was shared, palm wine flowed, laughter returned in cautious fragments. Gratitude, after all, had been restored, balance. Temporarily secured, later, when the crowd dispersed and silence reclaimed the village. Ezini entered his shrine alone. He placed fresh offering before the carved wooden figure of Agwu. For a brief second, as the flame of the oil lamp flickered, the shadows curved along the carved lips in a shape that looked almost like a smile, almost outside, somewhere in the darkness. A baby began to cry, and in Amuaka village. Every man and woman understood what the festival truly meant. It was not celebration, it was remembrance, because whether in a shrine deep in the forest or in the quiet chambers of your own life, a promise made is a debt created. And debts seen or unseen are always collected. Agwu watches, and June always comes again.